Hi there, welcome to my Google Plus Hangout. Everything you ever wanted to know about Texas Rangers spring training, but were too afraid to ask. I am your host for the next half hour or so, Gina Miller, and we are going to cover what exactly happens during the course of Ranger spring training, how you can meet some of the players, where to stay, where to eat, where to play golf, all of that and more over the course of the next 30 minutes or so. Plus, we'll also take your questions. So glad that you can join me for this interactive broadcast. How do you get involved in the broadcast? It's very simple. All you have to do is ask me a question right down below in the little box down below. It's the Google Plus Q&A app. Type in your question. I am monitoring them right here, and type in your questions and I will answer them as they come across. I already have a few questions in the queue to get to, but there is a lot to get to over the course of this broadcast. A little bit about Ranger spring training. It is a phenomenal opportunity to get to meet the team up close and personal. Unlike Cowboys or any NFL training camp, unlike NBA workouts during training camp or NHL workouts, Ranger spring training, and the majority of baseball spring trainings for that matter, are a really good opportunity to get to mix with players while they're on the job, while they are working. You can actually watch them work out, hear what the manager says to a new player, what a new manager says to an old player, in the case of the Rangers this year. Or you can hear a position coach, watch a position coach, coach his guys. It's really a unique opportunity that few other sports afford to their fans. And I got to be honest, usually around this time of year, my inbox is flooded with requests from friends and people I really don't even know asking me for advice on how to navigate Ranger spring training. Where do I stay? Where do I go? Where do I eat? Where do I play? When does the team work out? You get the idea. So in order to help serve you a little bit better, I decided to go this route and do a quick little broadcast to hopefully answer all of those questions. A little bit about me in case you don't know who I am. I have covered the Rangers since about the year 2002 professionally. I'm born and raised here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Dallas to be specific. And I have followed this team since I was a kid when they played at Arlington Stadium. I covered the Rangers starting when I worked at Channel 8, WFAA here in Dallas in 2002. And then in 2010, I became the co-host or the host of Texas Rangers Friday Night Baseball on TXA 21, which is part of the CBS-owned duopoly here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I covered the team during what some would say the glory days. What were the glory days in 2010, 2011, and 2012? I covered them from 2010 to 2013, where I was the host of the Texas Rangers pre- and post-game show from 2010 to 2013. I have been to spring training in Surprise going since 2003, almost about 7 or 8 times. I was there the very first year the Rangers worked out in Surprise when Buck Showalter was the manager of the Texas Rangers. And Surprise looks completely different now than it did back in 2003. There weren't as many residential developments. There weren't as many restaurants. There weren't as many drinking establishments for members of the media to partake in a beverage or two after a long day. In fact, I remember Buck Showalter telling me, this was kind of funny. He said, yeah, you know, a lot of my guys, and I won't mention who those guys were, but you know all of them. He goes, a lot of my guys are actually investing in real estate here in Surprise. Let me tell you, I think that was a pretty good investment. So Surprise has really grown over the years. It's still a bit of a mature community. You'll see Sun City run by Del Webb, the very popular retirement community, en route to Surprise, Arizona, if you land in Phoenix and drive up from Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. It's a mature community, but it's a warm community. People are friendly, and they love baseball there. They absolutely love baseball. So let's get into what exactly you need to know if you are going to visit the Texas Rangers in spring training this spring. This also can apply to other teams. Obviously, this is very Rangers specific, but you can take some of these principles and really apply them to just about any other team. I'm not sure of the specifics of open workouts and things of that nature, but for the most part, each team operates relatively similarly to the Texas Rangers. So here we go. Let's dive into Texas Rangers spring training 2015. Oh, a little something to get you in the mood here very quickly. We are only 45 days away until opening day at Globe Life Park. That is what the Texas Rangers tweeted out. Oh, just about 35 minutes ago. I know a lot of people are excited about Rangers season coming up. They're hoping for a better season from what we saw in 2014. So without you need to know about Texas Rangers spring training, but are too afraid to ask. Again, you can get in touch with me on any platform and ask any questions that you want to. So some things to know, some dates to remember as it relates to Rangers spring training. Most of the guys are there. Most of the team is there. Pitchers and catchers report. They reported on Friday. Their first workout was Saturday. In my experience covering this team, the majority of the players, they just go on and they go now. They go when pitchers and catchers report, just to get into camp, to get into the workout environment, and to get into the routine of being around their teammates. The first full squad workout is this Thursday, February 26th. Sunday and Monday, March 1st and 2nd. Can you believe March begins next week? I'm kind of freaking out about that right now. But Sunday and Monday, March 1st and 2nd. Intra-squad games are in the afternoon. Those times have yet to be determined. You can always follow the Rangers on Twitter or Ranger Blake. He is a great one to follow. Ranger Blake is, of course, John Blake, the Rangers vice president of just about everything, communications specifically, but he's a great one to follow. He always tweets out information that's really important to the Texas Rangers. Next Wednesday, March 4th, is a charity game with the Kansas City Royals at Surprise Stadium. That's at 1:05. Again, these are all mountain times. More on that in a bit as well. And then Thursday, March 5th, we are 1 week away from the official Cactus League opener with the Kansas City Royals at Surprise Stadium. It's a 1:05 first pitch. The Rangers will be the road team in their home stadium. Now, the Rangers and Royals share Surprise Stadium. And I got to tell you, over the course of covering this team in Surprise and visiting Surprise Stadium, I really have never run into any Royals players. They're part of the facility in Surprise is quite a distance and quite a ways away from the Rangers. That entire campus in Surprise is huge. Who I did run into my last visit to spring training, which was in 2013, was the Korean national baseball team. I, in fact, even have a baseball from the Korean national team. It's all written in Korean instead of English, but they were there working out at night and sharing the facility with the Rangers after the Rangers got done with their workouts. So some other things that you need to know. What exactly is Surprise Stadium all about? Let me just give you a little bit of insight on this beautiful facility. It really is gorgeous. It was built in 2003. The Rangers moved there from Florida in it was built in 2002. Construction was finished in 2002. The Rangers moved there to Surprise in 2003. Of course, it is also the spring training home to the Kansas City Royals, as well as the Rangers. This is the actual Surprise Stadium, located at 15850 North Bullard Avenue in Surprise, Arizona. That is right off of Bell Road. Bell Road is sort of the main road that runs through Surprise. And I'll show you a map here in just a little bit so you can get an idea and get your bearings on just where everything is in Surprise, Arizona in relation to Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, and Tempe. This Surprise complex is absolutely gorgeous. The stadium itself seats 10,500 fans. It's located on a 124-acre site that includes 6 full practice fields and a half field, as well as a separate clubhouse and office facilities. So this is the really cool thing. While the Rangers are working out, you can watch their workouts for free. You saw that slide I was going to show you just a second ago, but I had to tell you on camera. This is the absolute coolest thing about Surprise. Whether you make a trip specifically, a sojourn or pilgrimage, if you will, to worship at the shrine of the Cactus League, or if you just happen to be out in the Phoenix area on business, and you want maybe just a day to kind of play a little bit, go check out spring training, Ranger spring training specifically. Parking is free, workouts are free, and they're all open to the public. This is what is so cool. You can actually watch these guys, like I said to open the show, work out with one another, see how they interact with one another. That's something that you really can't get anywhere else. That's something you get a chance to see for yourself and really get an idea of how this team is coming together. What you will see is a lot of professional autograph hounds. And this is what the players call them. I am actually euphemizing that phrase, because they call them much worse, quite frankly. Professional autograph seekers are all over spring training. They actually bring their kids with them because players are more apt to sign autographs for kids than they are adults. And these guys hound players, hound them on the back fields as they go from field to field, workout to workout. They stop them right in the middle of running from one field to another and ask them for autographs. Fans do that as well. And I would give you one takeaway to consider when you are watching the Rangers players workout, or any baseball player workout. They are working. Yes, I know they're very well-paid workers and employees, but they are working. So imagine if somebody came to you while you were at your job and stopped you every 5 minutes and asked you for an autograph, or asked you for a TPS report. If we want to talk old-fashioned humor here, a little Mike Judge humor. Imagine if somebody was bugging you at your course of business every 5 to 10 minutes. Keep that into consideration when you meet these guys. They are more than willing to stop and sign an autograph. They're more than willing to stop and say hello, but they truly only have a second or two. That's really one of my big words of advice to give to you. And the guys will appreciate it too. They really will. So here's the thing. Like I said, you can watch the Rangers work out. It's the absolute coolest thing about baseball spring training, in my opinion. It's an opportunity to see players like you really never, ever get the chance to experience them. Workouts are open and free to the public on the back fields. There are 6 back fields that the Rangers utilize during their morning workouts. They head out there and you can visit any single field you want to. Do whatever you want to do. Have fun with it. You enter through the East Gate on Bullard Avenue. Again, that's right off Bell Road in Surprise, Arizona. All of this is Googleable, by the way. You enter on the East Gate off Bullard Avenue. Parking is free. I mean, this is why this is such a great experience. Gates normally open for fans between 9:30 and 10 a.m., depending on the time of the workout. You'll see a lot of familiar faces there. You'll see members of the media. You'll see Rangers executives. You'll see Rangers owners. You'll see super fans like this lady, Shirley Coast, AKA the Cookie Lady. She always presents cookies to Rangers players as well as members of the broadcast crew. Tom Grieve loves to share his appreciation for the Cookie Lady. Trust me on this. She'll share her cookies with you. That's kind of the cool thing. She will. She has no problem sharing her cookies with you. Just be polite when you ask for them. So here's a look at the Rangers' schedule, the entire schedule over the course of spring training. My daughter's stopping by to say hello.
Thank you.
There you go. Surprise is 1 hour behind Texas through March 7th. So that's something to consider. They are 2 hours behind. Surprise is 2 hours behind Texas beginning March 8th. Again, something to consider there because the time change will come into effect if you are marking your calendars here. So here's a look at the Rangers schedule. Like I said, Cactus League play begins next Wednesday, March 4th at Surprise Stadium as the Rangers play the Royals. Here's the entire schedule right here. All of these facilities are relatively an hour's drive or less away from Surprise. And I'm going to get into where to stay in just a moment. But none of these are really far. If you are driving in rush hour, Phoenix traffic, Surprise area traffic, Scottsdale traffic can be a nightmare. But, if you just want to pop on over to Camelback Ranch, for example, to watch the Dodgers play in Glendale, that's not far at all, and that is easily doable. Also Peoria, the Peoria Sports Complex, the home of the Padres and the Mariners, that's really close as well. So if you're going to a home game, here are some things you probably want to know. Ticket prices. Not expensive at all. Lower dugout starts at $34. Lawn tickets, there's inexpensive as $9.95. You can, of course, buy season tickets. They are on sale now. There's the ticket line, 1-800-745-3000, or you can visit Ticketmaster.com for details. If you're interested in going to a road game, here is a map of the greater Phoenix area, the greater Surprise area. So there you see Phoenix right here. I'm circling that with my cursor. This is where the Rangers and Royals work out in Surprise, all the way up here, about 25 miles northwest of the greater Phoenix area. You see on your route, in Route 2 Surprise, you'll pass through Glendale, Peoria, Sun City. It's really a straight shot, very easy to get to and to access. Glendale is pretty close where the Dodgers work out. Off Camelback Road here, the Dodgers and White Sox facility at Camelback Ranch. That's a close facility. The Padres and Mariners facility, the Peoria Sports Complex, like I said, that's also quite close and an easy road trip for you guys if you want to go visit there. I have done Mesa over here. This is Hohokam Park. That is under construction right now, which is kind of disappointing. That is the spring training home of the Chicago Cubs, and it is an experience like no other. It is under construction right now, and the Cubs are holding their spring training at Sloan Park in Mesa, in the Mesa area. But there's an idea of kind of where everything is in relation to the Rangers and Royals complex at Surprise Stadium. Here is the Angels facility way down there in Tempe Diablo Stadium. I went and visited them in spring of 2013 for that interview I did with Josh Hamilton. That's probably a YouTube hangout or a Google Plus hangout for another day, because that was an interesting experience. Josh was wonderful and gracious, but walking into that Angels clubhouse that year was nothing like covering the Texas Rangers that particular season. So hotels, I'm always asked, where should I stay if I'm going to Surprise? The Marriott Residence Inn is right next to Surprise Stadium. It is usually sold out. That's because members of the media, as well as a number of players, as well as members of the media, usually stay there. It's relatively close. You could say it's within walking distance of Surprise Stadium. Super easy to access. If you can get a room there, I would say do it. The rooms are spacious. The staff is wonderful. They offer a free breakfast in the morning. It's fabulous, although it's usually sold out. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites is also right down the road from the Marriott Residence Inn. That's also super, super close. You might see some baseball players staying there as well. The Windmill Suites in Surprise, that is billed as the official Texas Rangers spring training hotel. That's more of the corporate hotel where they put a lot of their team employees as well as executives. The Best Western Inn and Suites of Sun City is also relatively close by. And the Hampton Inn and Suites in Surprise, that was recommended to me by a spring training fan veteran. I'll give you a little bit more of her story a little bit later in the show. Lucy Blatchley, she's been going to Rangers spring training for years. She's a veteran. She's going to offer a few tips about how to navigate spring training a little bit later in the broadcast. But Lucy suggests that Hampton Inn and Suites. She says it's fabulous. Again, I can't recommend that Marriott Residence Inn enough. It is a wonderful hotel, but it's usually sold out. It really is a great place to stay. So once you've got your hotel situation taken care of, I will say that a number of people, before I move on, a number of people do rent condos. Like you'll see members of the media who are out there for the entire 4 to 6 weeks of spring training. They'll just rent a condo. It's just easier because you've got a kitchenette and you can cook and you can do whatever it is that you need to do in that condo. They'll just do it that way. The Marriott Residence Inn and Suites does have a condo-like environment because it's got a kitchenette in it. So that's what I would do when I would go to spring training. I would just go grocery shopping and go to Trader Joe's, stock up on a ton of groceries and eat for the most part in my room because we were so busy working. So what to bring if you're visiting spring training for a day? If you're just going there for a day, there are some definite things that I recommend you bring. Water. It's the desert in Arizona. It's super, super hot. And if you're going there for a workout, you're not, before games start next week, you're not going to have the opportunity to pick up stuff in a snack stand. There's not like a snack stand on the back fields in Surprise. So you really need to bring your own snacks if you're the kind of person who gets thirsty or hungry. Definitely bring some water though, because the water fountains there are kind of sketchy, if you know what I mean. Bring some snacks if you think you're going to be hungry. I say sunflower seeds are always a good idea. Sunscreen, I'm telling you, I cannot tell you how many people get those sunburns from Surprise. The Surprise sunburn, and you see it from people who didn't put sunscreen, not just on their face, but their hands, their legs, their feet. You really do need to wear sunscreen if you are taking your kids with you. I recommend getting some kids sunscreen right here, some of this No Tears sunscreen. It's also very good. Hats are a good idea, again, to protect you from the sun. That sun is so harsh. Layers, this might surprise you, but it does get quite cold. The weather can be unpredictable. It can be very warm one minute and then quite chilly the next day. I've been out there where I've worn tank tops and shorts, and I've also been out there where I've been freezing and I've had to borrow gear from the Rangers in terms of windbreakers and jackets just because it was so cold and so rainy. So prepare for any element. Just a nice solid jacket or windbreaker, I think, will really serve you well if you're heading out there to surprise. Also, comfortable shoes. Now, whatever comfortable means to you, for me, comfortable is a wedge heel. For others, that's tennis shoes or ballet flats, but comfortable shoes are key. You do park far away from where the Rangers actually work out if you're going to workouts. You park rather far away, and you'll probably walk anywhere from a quarter of a mile to a half mile to a mile around that surprise facility. Now, while there is pavement, you will be walking on grass, and you will be walking on clay, and you will be walking on gravel. So just keep that in mind if you're walking. If you're going with anybody who has mobility issues, or if you're going with kids, they will be able to navigate that, no problem. Just keep it in mind and wear some comfortable walking shoes, comfortable shoes that won't get anyone in any trouble, because you don't want to have a bad time at spring training. It's too wonderful an experience not to have a bad time. So that's what I definitely suggest that you pack. Also sunglasses too. Again, I cannot over exaggerate how powerful that desert sun is. Restaurants, I'm always asked about spring training restaurants. And I got to tell you, in the surprise area, your options are kind of limited. They really, really are. It's mainly chain restaurants in the surprise area. A lot of these restaurants, Carrabba's, P.F. Chang's, Pei Wei, Paradise Bakery, Applebee's, Red Robin. I lived at that Paradise Bakery for lunch. Again, my spring training schedule was get up, breakfast. I had to be at the clubhouse at 8 a.m. When the clubhouse opened to get our interviews for the day. I'd have lunch probably around 3 in the afternoon. That's why snacks are important. I'd have lunch around 3 in the afternoon, and that was usually something from Paradise Bakery. I would run to Paradise Bakery, or my photographer would run to Paradise Bakery and grab something. Interestingly, because it's such a mature community, a lot of the senior citizens were enjoying lunch as well at Paradise Bakery. It's right down Bell Road, super close to this facility in Surprise. In terms of, nice dining out places, places that are really fabulous to enjoy a good dinner. There are a couple places that are unique to Surprise. Babbo Italian Eatery always gets high remarks, and Rio Mirage Cafe offers up Mexican food. Many times we would visit Scottsdale or Phoenix proper. A few years ago, I would have to drive into Phoenix every single night to do live shots on the roof of our CBS sister station in the Phoenix area. So on the way back around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, we would stop and have dinner either in Scottsdale or Phoenix. Scottsdale's about 40 miles away, but there's a Houston's in Scottsdale. It may be called Hillstone now. Houston's, that restaurant has rebranded and changed their name to Hillstone. That Hillstone or Houston's, whatever it's called now, is fabulous in the Scottsdale area. Super, super popular, super fabulous. It is like every other Houston's / Hillstone in that you will wait for like an hour before you get something. So prepare to have a drink and a cocktail if you're going to visit that Houston's / Hillstone. But tons of great restaurants in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Just Google and you'll find a ton that you'll love. Don and Charlie's. If you are going to blow it out one night, I suggest doing Don and Charlie's. That is really a unique restaurant. It is full of sports memorabilia that will absolutely blow your mind. If you're a sports fan, you got to go there. It's a high-end steakhouse that offers beautiful food and phenomenal service and hospitality. I did a live shot there when I worked for Channel 8 back in 2003, and the owner let us do our live shot in the restaurant, and it was absolutely fabulous. The food, wonderful. Again, I just can't recommend it enough, and it's a shrine to sports memorabilia that you really have to visit. Not a lot of places to grab beer and Surprise, quite frankly. Brookside is a bar, and Fuzzy's Sports Grill is exactly what it sounds like. A simple, fun sports bar that a lot of Rangers individuals would visit in the past couple of years. Can't speak for the last 2 years and this year, but Fuzzy's was quite a popular spot as well. So how about golf? If you're going to the Phoenix area, I know you want to play golf. And there are a lot of people who do that. A lot of members of the media, a lot of baseball players, they all bring their golf clubs to spring training to get an opportunity to experience everything the Phoenix area has to offer. This is from golfadvisor.com. I don't golf, so I can't really speak to what each of these courses is all about, but I'm assuming the guys at Golf Advisor definitely know what they're talking about. Best nearby courses in Surprise. GolfAdvisor.com recommends Arizona Traditions Golf Club, the Great Eagle Golf Club, and the 36-hole Granite Falls Golf Club, which are all very close to Surprise Stadium. They also recommend taking the 28-mile road trip down to Chase Down Quintero Golf Club, designed by Reese Jones. The best nearby course in Peoria, which again is really close to Surprise Stadium, you'll see only 16 miles away. Trilogy Golf Club at Vistancia is again super close. And the best nearby course in Glendale, just cross the Agua Fria River to stay and play at the 54-hole Wigwam Resort in Litchfield Park, less than 5 miles from the stadium. A lot of the Dodgers and you might see some Dodgers people there. I'll just put it that way. That Wigwam Resort that I mentioned, that used to be quite the spot for veteran members of the Texas Rangers to stay during their time in Surprise. It's a luxury resort in the area, and I believe Nolan Ryan used to stay there. No more, because they don't work out there anymore, and he's no longer with the Rangers. But the Astros are, of course, in Florida. But yeah, a lot of Rangers players and executives would stay at that Wigwam Resort that was very nice. Members of the media stayed there too. They used to finagle that and get their supervisors to approve that expense report. Again, if you are heading out to Surprise, I just say take advantage of every single opportunity you have when you go out there, because it's just so much fun, and it's not something that you normally get the chance to do. A few questions that I did get here that I want to share with you. David Alvey wants to know where to stay that's centrally located and where does the team stay? Again, I would suggest staying around Surprise Stadium. In the greater Surprise area, everything is so close to you. Now, it's not walking distance. This isn't a walking city, but everything's so close that it's a 5 to 10 minute drive. Not a bad drive at all. If you can get into that Marriott Residence Inn, do it. You will not regret it. If you get in there on points, I say do it. It's the closest one to the facility, and it's a great hotel. It's got kitchenettes, everything you need to make coffee in the morning and get out the door. Where does the team stay? Again, some members of the team, not necessarily the marquee players, but when I stayed at the Residence Inn, I would run into Alexia Gondo, literally every morning coming back from the gym at that Marriott Residence Inn. I'm not sure who's staying there this year, but it's, again, the closest one to Surprise Stadium. Bob Thomas wants to know, can you watch non-game practices? Yes. Again, in fact, you are encouraged to do so because it's a fabulous experience. And then where should you go after a home game? Well, I got to tell you, if you're going to hang out in Surprise, your pickings are limited. Like I said, it's mainly restaurant bars in Surprise, like the bar at PF Chang's or Carrabba's, that sort of a thing. Surprise is not some hip happening spot. It is no Tempe at all. It is a mature community again, and it is one that goes to bed pretty early. I want to share what my friend Lucy suggests. Lucy and her husband are Frisco Rough Riders season ticket holders, and they have been attending workouts in Surprise and spring trainings in Surprise, gosh, going all the way back to 2003 when the Rangers moved there from Florida. She tells me that she has always stayed at the Hampton Inn in Surprise. So again, it's about 10 minutes away from Surprise Stadium. She recommends what I do. They do fill up early, so you need to get your reservations as soon as possible. And her advice about experiencing the games in Surprise is really good advice. We would go to about 3 games at Surprise Stadium and try 1 game at an away stadium. Again, get your tickets early. It's a popular event. Again, spring training is something that a lot of families plan their spring break around to experience. They bring all the family out there, the sons, the daughters, grandma, grandpa. They want to experience every single thing spring training has to offer. And people have planned this for a while. So get if you're thinking about it, get on the horn, get those reservations in the can right now. Lucy suggests getting to the games about an hour and a half early. This allows you to park fairly close to the stadium. Again, parking is free. You can walk around and find players to visit with and get autographs. The players, this is a good point Lucy makes, the players are generally okay with visiting fans, talking to them. If you want to go out in the morning, you can check out the practice fields. That is exactly what I recommend doing. Lucy also says that she always had at least one day where they did not go to a game, and recommends that it's nice to have a good day off from baseball. Great advice. She, again, Rough Riders season ticket holder for years. Her mother is my former neighbor, Frances. You've probably read about her, Frances Raines, the wife of the late Judge Talbot Raines. Huge Rangers season ticket holder, Rangers fan. She's in her 90s. Has no problem with me sharing that. But Lucy and her mother, Frances, even went to Surprise. It's easy to navigate if you're a mature senior or if you're a young kid who just wants to run around on the backfields and play baseball. But Lucy's point about interacting with the players, again, I really can't stress that enough. Just keep that in mind when you are approaching these guys. They're there to entertain you, but they're also there to do their job. So just be really, really respectful if you do approach them. They're all really good guys. You know, Derek Holland, one of the most approachable in all of Major League Baseball. A lot of the young guys on the Rangers roster, they'd love to meet you. They'd love to say hello, but just respect their time, because again, they are going from field to field, from workout to workout, and they need to get to where they need to get their job done. So that just about does it. Hope that covered everything you ever wanted to know about Texas Rangers spring training in Surprise, Arizona, but we're too afraid to ask. If there's anything else that you would like to know, any questions that you have, any future videos you would like to see me produce or hangouts you'd like to see me produce, please let me know in the comments section. I would love to connect with you on every single platform there is. My website is theginamiller.com. I'm on Twitter at theginamiller. Love to know what you think. And if you are going to Surprise, I would love to know what your plans are. If you plan on taking in a Rangers-Dodgers game, if you plan on visiting some of the other spring training facilities, let me know in the comments section. Tweet me a picture. I'd love to check it out and share it on my website. So keep in touch with me, and I hope to talk to you again very soon.
I can have this.